It's so difficult to do your own rebrand, which is
Yeah.
what we hear from our clients all the time. That's
Yeah.
why they work with us, because
Yeah.
it's so, as we always say, it's hard to, see the picture when you're in the frame, or it's hard to see the label when you're in the jar. It's
Yeah.
so hard to apply it to yourself.
And it's so easy to just keep putting it on the back burner, being like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll get to it. We're okay with what we got. We're getting by,
Yeah.
but we want to do better than just getting by.
Absolutely. Rebranding a company is a challenging project, let alone trying to do it for your own company. How do you set the parameters for creative exploration? How do you critique a design concept? How do you create a robust visual identity that resonates both internally and externally? That's what we'll be showing you in this mini-series. We'll be documenting our journey at Rex Marketing and Design as we embark on our own internal rebrand. Rex is a strategic and creative branding agency located in Vancouver, BC. On a mission to build brands that give a shit about people, Rex helps businesses define who they are, what they do, and their impact through developing brand strategy and creative marketing execution. In this series, you'll see our team members brainstorm, design, and pitch ideas for the Rex rebrand, and can follow along our creative process step by step. From seeking inspiration in creative territories, to defining a direction with clear mood boards, and then designing and bringing the visual identity to life. By showing you a behind-the-scenes look at our creative process and approach to building a visual identity, we hope to give you the tools to do the same for yourself, or feel more confident in leading your design team. At the end of this episode, we'll be sharing the 3 things your business needs to get started on your own internal rebrand. But how did we get here? Like most of our clients, our business has grown and evolved over the years, and we needed a new visual identity to accurately reflect who we are today. Let's take a look inside a rebrand. In this episode, you'll meet Christian and Melissa, who have been facing some challenges when creating designs using the Rex visual identity. And you'll meet Allison, who's the leader of the team and wants to see more variety in the creative work for Rex. What is a visual identity? The cornerstone of any visual identity is a logo. But what defines a sophisticated and distinct visual identity are the layered visual elements that make the brand recognizable even when the logo isn't present. A strong visual identity includes a robust visual vocabulary for custom designed brand and marketing assets that get noticed. This can include a logo, color palette, typography, brand textures and patterns, photography styles, any elements that contribute to a clear and distinct look and feel for the brand. So we've definitely seen some issues with the visual identity as it is now.
You and I weren't really here when the rebrand took place.
That's true. Yeah.
This
You and I are
all
not
was
here.
developed before we got brought on board. So I think there was a bit of a disconnect with us knowing what the brand was meant to be and where Allison got to with the actual rebrand.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of like not miscommunication, but we just weren't really in tune with what the brand is all about.
Everyone on the team, we knew and we understood what the brand standards are.
Yeah.
But as you said, none of us were part of that visual identity rebrand that Rex did like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So we kind of received this visual, but I don't think any of us really felt connected or really understood what the intention was.
It was very much just hex codes
Yeah.
and typography hierarchy, which
Yeah.
we always debated about, which was the hierarchy of the type.
We always fought about that.
Yeah.
None of us really felt comfortable using it or exploring
Yeah.
different ways to creatively, take it another step further. It didn't really align to how Rex has grown today. Like, we've changed a lot as an agency over the past few years, and I think that the visual identity worked for what it needed to be 3 years ago. Since then, Allison has clarified her vision for the agency. The team has changed and grown and evolved so much. The way that we talk about Rex and what we do is different. So I think that we visually need a different representation.
Yes.
Rex Marketing has been around for a few years now. We started in 2017. And we launched with a brand that I loved, and it served us well, and it was really meaningful for me, and the team has grown. The team has changed. Our vision is clarified. The impact that we want to make is clear to us, and with that, there's more I want to communicate. The logo initially was, you've got this great company, you've got a lot of the pieces, and there's a few missing holes, and Rex will come in and fill in those blanks. And then we had our texture. Our texture of the initial brand is a bunch of dots, and they sort of start off dispersed and random, and then they come together into some sort of order. And that was inspired by a line that I find myself repeating a lot when it comes to describing where our clients are at when they come to Rex, which is, they're sort of in this state of chaos and confusion with their marketing or their branding, not knowing what to say, where to focus, what to do, if it's working, and they're looking for that agency support to come alongside and create some order and give them that confidence. So the dots in our original texture were like that chaos and confusion leading towards order.
Allison has built her company with this visual identity, so naturally there's an attachment to the existing look, especially the dots and what they represent. Throughout the project, the team will have to respect the original ideas behind the existing brand, making sure nothing critical is lost, while breathing new life into the visuals in a way that feels authentic to the company.
What has changed in terms of what I want to communicate about our impact and what we do? I really want to communicate the entity that exists, the relationship that exists when you invest in, when you invest in your brand between an audience and a company. When we would be developing content, whether it be for social media or graphics to support our communications, it wasn't rich enough anymore.
We're starting to do more social media content for Rex. We're designing some posts with text. We're trying to do some more infographics, some cool diagrams. But the visual identity doesn't really lend itself to a robust social media content strategy that it looks thoughtfully curated. It's quite limiting. Right now we only have a few templates that I just drop text into. I kind of turned to Christian at that point to see if he could help
make a miracle happen.
To make a miracle happen, because I wanted to do more complex posts, do more carousels and educational content, which is the trend for social media these days, and it's the value that we want to give to our clients. But I don't really have the skills to do that on my own, so that's when I kind of turned to Christian and said, can you help me amplify this? We were playing around with different approaches to one social media post. We just wanted to design one carousel and test that out. We sent that over to Allison. She was just like, something's not right about this. It doesn't feel like the Rex brand. Normally, before we would do something like a creative project, we would get a brief from the client. A creative brief captures the direction for any creative project. It helps the brand strategist explain to the creative team the scope of what they'll be creating, the objectives, requirements, desired impact, key messages, and any other important information that's going to affect the design. Throughout the project, the brief acts as a guide to make sure that we haven't missed the mark. In this case, Allison is acting as the client since we're kind of asking for her feedback on the social media post, and she just kind of sent over like a brief WhatsApp text message to us saying, this is the brand. This is the brand.
Our brand is meant to look and feel like an energy radiating. The gradient was inspired by melted colors of Aurora Borealis, a glorious and dynamic phenomenon created by light and random particles and elements reflected in it. I want to feel that radiating energy, the possibility created when great minds and good hearts come together.
To be clear, this is not the typical process for a visual identity redesign. Any rebrand will always start with a creative discovery. This is where we sit down with a client to better understand their goals, their audiences, main objectives, what they want to communicate with the look and feel of their brand. This forms a creative strategy, which is then captured in the creative brief.
We found out what the brand was supposed to convey, and that's things like aurora and energy and movement and ideas melding together. We needed to almost do like a reconnect with what the brand was all about on a visual standpoint.
Receiving this direction from Allison made something very clear. We needed more than just a better social media post.
The previous visual identity was great. It was great. It worked really, really well up until this point, and then we didn't have the visual language and the textures and the imagery and the visual strategy to communicate the things that we wanted to say anymore.
After that conversation between us, we know we don't want to just dive into designing just social media posts and trying to create a visual identity through that. We need to do the whole process from start to finish with a proper brief, proper creative territories and exploration and mood boards and
process
that, you know, we always do for our clients, and that has always led to great success. So I feel like applying that to ourselves is going to be really interesting, but it's also going to yield something really cool and very unique to Rex. Christian and I are spearheading this project together, but we're both bringing a very different perspective. We foresee different challenges, and we have different goals for the project.
Pulling the vision that Allison has in her head out, which is one of the hardest parts. And it all comes down to communication and really looking for the nuances of what she's saying and how she's feeling.
I understand Allison's original vision. I understand where we've grown and where we want to grow to. I can take my deep understanding and knowledge of the brand of Rex and make sure that that's communicated effectively in the visuals that we end up with. Of course, I also play the role of project manager, so making sure that things are done.
Yes, that this whole thing actually happens.
You know, not pushed off to the side as it can so easily be, and making sure that we keep the momentum going.
Yeah, definitely.
My role in this project is, it's a little bit different than usual. I am the client. It gives me a chance, it gives me the opportunity to just sit back and give you my gut reactions and tell you what I'm feeling and tell you what I want to communicate.
And this is going to be almost an even more challenging project because not only is our client our boss, but we have this personal relationship with her. It's her baby. We see her every day. So this is a whole different ballgame where I think we're going to have to really be strict with how we go about this. Otherwise, lines become blurred and we can easily get lost in the whole process.
It's also weird because I have to be mindful that I don't kind of try to backseat drive it, right?
I would say there's also a lot of pressure on both of us.
Yeah, there's a ton of pressure.
New clients are going to be coming to the website, for example, when they're first searching for us or finding out about us. And obviously you want that to be impressive. And we're a design agency.
So we better damn well impress them.
I think what I ultimately want for Rex, for our visual identity and for this project is I want something that we all feel proud of, that everyone on the team resonates with and connects to and is comfortable using in everyday situations, whether it's like I have to create a PowerPoint presentation for a client, I want to feel comfortable using the Rex brand and that we have a clear direction.
And I really hope that the rebrand gives us a bit of a creative edge over everyone else. I want us to feel unique in the sense that we're a small agency, but we've been tackling bigger and bigger projects because we're growing quite fast here at Rex. Like we've got a new office, we've got more employees coming on board, and the more that we all feel unified under this brand visual identity, I think the stronger everything will turn out. I'm really excited and a little nervous with the fact that we can take this one step further and we can finally, make it the brand that I think she always envisioned it being.
I want our team to feel that it represents us, that it represents the impact that we want to make, and it to feel proud. I already know it's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see how it impacts our team.
In the next episode, Christian and Melissa will be starting to research and explore different directions that they could take the Rex brand. Through creative territory and mood board exercises, they'll narrow it down to 2 clear ideas for Allison to choose between. This will set the tone for everything they do next. See you in the next episode of Inside a Rebrand. Now let's talk about your business. Christian and I will share 3 things that your business will need to get started on your own internal rebrand.
Okay, you're gonna need a designer. Somebody who's got some sort of background in design, who can, sketch, who can come up with unique concepts, who can use, the basic programs for Adobe, who can use Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. They pretty much have to know those 3.
Yeah, you need to find people who have the technical skills to do the actual design work, and also to not just illustrate, but to be the creative director and the strategic thinker to direct which way that the visual ends up going. You need someone who can be the project manager, essentially. So someone who can be objective, provide feedback and communicate clearly, to be the person to bounce ideas off of, to keep the project on track.
And you need hopefully both of those people are able to ask the right questions.
Oh, hopefully that's so important.
Yeah, hopefully they're good communicators and they can pull the information out of whoever is in charge, who's ever making the final call on these decisions.
For any creative project like this, you need to have the room to explore.
Yes.
Right? You need to have the freedom, the flexibility to just like take a day and explore creatively, right?
Yeah. Because it takes a bit of time and some good communication skills in order to unpack what the company is all about and then figure out a unique direction to take it in. Because the last thing you want to end up with is like a cookie cutter template brand that just falls in line with everybody else. You've got to figure out a way to do something that has been done. And oftentimes it feels like everything's been done. We're living in this age where there's so many brands out there and there's so much competition and everyone has access to making websites. And so how do you figure out a unique way of going about it? It may feel like you might get to the end of the day and you're like, what did I just do? Or have I even come close to where I need to get to?
This is why I think, a partnership like ours is really important. You need someone who's also going to be there to say, done is better than perfect.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this very first episode of Inside a Rebrand. This is the first time we're creating content like this. We thought it'd be a fun side project to document, so we'd really love to know what you think. What are the steps of the creative process that you're most curious about? What are you most excited to see next? Let us know in the comment section below. Give this video a like and follow us for more content like this. See you next time.